हेलो भाई
Good evening, everyone. My name is Akshat. I'm from Nursify team, India. We have Mr. Chandar Madan with us, who's the CEO of Nursify. We will be talking about the OSCE exam for today, and we would be helping each one of you in order to understand the UK process better, in order to understand the OSCE process a little better, and there will be certain rules to the webinar. That one, please everyone be on mute. One second, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box or wait. We will, at the end of the webinar, we will have certain time for each one of you to attend and ask any questions if you have. Three, we will be very happy if you keep the webinar very interactive. We already have a lot of questions received from all of you, so we will be going ahead and asking those questions, so it becomes very clear for each one of you that how exactly the OSCE process will happen. I'm sure every one of you is very excited to understand what exactly will happen, how exactly the recruitment will happen in the UK. So I first of all would like to welcome Mr. Chandra Madan, and then we will take your questions from there. Mr. Madan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Akshit, and it's a pleasure to be here. I know that the UK process is a little slow right now, but it's important to prepare. And the objective of this webinar today is how can we be better prepared for the opportunities that are going to come up in the UK. And we would try to answer some of the questions. This is kind of a new initiative we have launched, and we want to make sure that all of you are better prepared, ready to launch your career on a different launching pad, if I may call it that way, at a different scale. And that's the whole objective of the webinar today. So back to you, Akshit, and look forward to interacting with all of you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Madan. So we have asked our audiences a lot of recommendation as to what they want to know in this webinar. And the one question that is very much in demand today is, what is OSCE and why is it a essential step for nurses planning to work in the UK currently?
Yeah, so OSCE simply is a test that will help you complete your UK licensing process in simple words. Okay. It is basically the last OSCE test is basically the last test or last step in the licensing process, the NMC process, and it's a practical exam on the operations and operating practices in the UK ethics, and it is a must to practice in the to get a license and NMC pin in the UK. Just to explain you the process, usually you will take OSCE once you land in UK, and your employer will help you train on the OSCE and help you prepare for exam, and then you go and appear for exam and pass the same. And usually in that process, you take about 3 months. Okay. Now, what we are suggesting here now, because the employment opportunities are rather limited with all the changes that have happened, there is enough supply of pinned NMC pin nurses in the UK. So you prepare, for OSCE, in advance before you even land in UK for your job offer or for your job, and you save that 3 months of time, and you can, of course, get significantly advantage with that. So in simple words, what we are saying is, while you're waiting for the right opportunities to come your way, while the interviews are being organized, I think be better prepared, right? So it's like if you are a sailor, right? If you let me correlate this with the analogy of fishing, right? So a fisherman, when it is when there is storm in the ocean, right? They can't go in the ocean, right? Because otherwise they will get drowned. So what they do, they sharpen the tools on the shore, right? And that's what exactly we are recommending, right? Sharpen your tools, be prepared, be ready for the opportunities that are going to come your way in the UK. So, you are prepared to, face any interview or face any job. Of course, when it opens up, when the job situation opens up, the hospitals are going to prefer nurses who already have a PIN versus nurses who don't have a PIN, right? So your chances of getting a role are much, much better. And as I said, it's like a fisherman who can't go out in the sea in the storm, but can prepare well, can sharpen the tools, uh, you know, uh, make sure the net is secured and safe before they get to the sea.
So now we have the first question here from Benjamin. That is, after OSCE and PIN, will we get the job and sponsorship?
Yeah, so I think once you complete the OSCE, so there are two parts to the process. How you will be preparing for it. Of course, we'll be training you on the OSCE piece. And so there is a training piece. Sorry, and there's the exam piece. The training piece can happen mostly wherever you are, in whichever country you come from. Okay. And let's say if you are from India, then we can decide a location in India and you'll get trained. But the examination has to be done in the UK. Okay. So the way the process will work is we train you first. Once you get trained, you will be appearing for the exam in the UK. And once you appear for exam, of course, assuming that your exam is good and you get great results, then you have an NMC PIN, which means you then are ahead of the queue versus a lot of other people who have not done OSCE yet. Okay, so once you've done the PIN, your chances of getting a job and sponsorship are much, much higher than somebody who does not have a PIN. Okay, that's how I would like to answer that. And let me tell you this, we're not guaranteeing any jobs here. Okay, so just to be very, very clear, we want you to be prepared so that your chances of getting a job becomes much higher. Of course, if you have a PIN, your chances of being successful are much higher uh, than the nurses who don't have a PIN. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Madan. So you keep. I hope that answers your question, Tangabali. You can keep asking the questions, everyone, in the chat box if you have any. The next question, Mr. Madan, that we have from the people is that why should any international nurse choose the UK, choose UK as their career, and how does OSCE help them achieve this goal?
Yeah, so as I said, OSCE is the last step in the examination, or sorry, in the registration process of a UK nursing license. Definitely, so that's why you need it, right? It is a must license to have, um, for UK. Of course, it makes you familiar with, it's a prerequisite. It makes you familiar with the local processes, local culture, how to communicate, uh, how to interact with patients, and what are the standards or ethics they need to follow. Of course, why UK? That's a no-brainer. Uh, UK has been setting a very, very high benchmark, uh, very, very high benchmark for the healthcare system in the UK. Is one of the most advanced. And of course, from whichever country you come from, whichever country you come from, you will certainly have a relatively uh, lot more advanced process and system, or the healthcare system in the UK. Certainly much better than India, Nepal, Southeast Asia, Philippines, wherever you are, right? Definitely, it's much, much better. Number one. Number two, as I said, OSCE is a prerequisite, so you got to do that. And second, it also gives you exposure to one of the most preferred healthcare system in the world. So definitely there are a lot of advantages of going to UK. And second, of course, the profession is a lot more respected in the UK than probably in your home country. So yeah, these are probably some of the reasons I would like to put forward in support of OSCE.
Thank you, Mr. Madan. Next question we have is from Amol. He's asked two, three questions, so I'll ask accordingly. Do private hospital provide sponsorship after OSCE, and how much time does it take for OSCE to get the result, and time required to get the PIN after the OSCE result? So he wants to know the whole process, maybe timeline.
Yeah, usually the OSCE results is out in 2 weeks. Okay. And once the OSCE result is out, it takes about 30 days to get your PIN. So I don't think that's a long process. What you can do is, so 2 weeks once you appear for the exam, and most people will clear it in the first attempt itself. And once the exam is done and the results are out, it takes roughly about a month to get a OSCE PIN, as I said. So what you do is, once you have appeared for the exam, you come back to your home country, wait for your OSCE PIN to come through, and once you get a PIN, or in between, you can start applying for jobs, and I'm sure you will get one with that pin. The other question somebody asked here: do private hospitals provide sponsorship after OSCE? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So once you have done, see, we do. OSCE is actually putting you ahead of the curve, or ahead of the queue versus a lot of other people. And definitely it brings you in the front of the queue. And I feel that if you do this, uh, it's better to prepare than to keep waiting and whining and complaining about no jobs. Uh, it's better to be prepared. I'd rather prepare myself than keep complaining about no jobs being available and things like that. So if I were you, I'll prepare, and I'll prepare well. And you know the idea is to uh, really be ahead of the queue of a lot of people, because it's becoming very, very competitive out there. And you got to be ahead, versus uh, you know keep waiting for the opportunity. So yeah, you will get sponsorship. You are better prepared, and your chances of getting jobs are much, much higher if you're done OSCE than otherwise. Yeah.
The next question that we have here is, what are the career opportunities open for nurses after passing the OSCE? I think that has already been covered by the question that Amol asked. So yeah, if anybody has any questions related to the career opportunities opening up after passing the OSCE, you can post it here. And otherwise, this has been covered. What are the biggest challenges candidate face when preparing for the OSCE, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges that I've seen, and you know,
داود اللي مش يراونا خير يمكن في تحت جراوند
so some of the challenges that we have seen, I think, because what is OSCE? OSCE, as I said earlier, is the exam to qualify for the UK license. And so what does it cover, right? It has all the local processes, local procedures, and ethics and rules and regulations. So first of all, I think if I were to look at challenges, somebody coming from India or Nepal or Southeast Asia or some of the emerging markets who have not worked in the UK, that the UK process is very, very unfamiliar to you, right? It's very, very new to you, number one. And so the NMC code, the NICE guidelines, all the association resources, all the NMC resources are geared up, or others are supposed to prepare you for that. Two, I think one of the biggest challenges that you face is there's a lack of hands-on practice. So what we do in our training program is that you will get a lot of hands-on practice on the dummies, on the real life station environment that you will be given, so that you're better prepared. Third challenge, of course, is that there's a time management is not enough, right? Or the time management is a challenge. Now, I know in a practical scenario, a nurse like you would be able to do very, very well. But if it's an exam type situation, it's more stressful. So I think you can use a lot of time management techniques to manage that. The other important piece of the whole thing is the communication and language barriers, right? Now, take an example of if you have to give an injection in India, you will probably ask, because there's so much traffic coming in, number of patients coming in the hospital, you won't have time to be for the niceties, right? Pleasantries, right? You will typically say, hey, this is what you won't even probably tell them, right? Patient comes, you said, roll up your sleeves, boom, and done. Now, that's not how it will work in the UK, right? So there, you need to make sure that you make them comfortable. If it is a toddler, you need to probably do a bit of an act or bit of an act to make sure that the child is comfortable with you. And then, ask about how was your day, and I'm going to give this injection. This is what the side effects are. It won't pain, whatever. So I think the communication approach and the style is very, very different in the UK versus your home country, whether it's Philippines, India, Nepal, whatever it is. So I think the nurses need to get familiar with some of the communication language barriers. And I think with a lot of practice and by doing a lot of simulation, you can get over that. The other piece where I think the nurses are challenged is the nervousness and the performance anxiety. Of course, in any exam, I mean, all of us probably never wanted to appear for the exam, even the schools, right? So, I think another exam, that the the nervousness piece, I think the more you practice, the more you are able to, avoid all the nervousness as well. And of course, you need to make sure, as one would say, the practice makes a man or a person perfect. So the more you practice, the more you go through a training program, the more you have a mentor who can help you, the more you practice on the station, would help you overcome all of these challenges. Okay. Remember, you are done OSCE once you spend a couple of months in the UK, but right now you're doing it, way before you reach your destination. And I think it is better that you follow a very rigorous process in a clinical way, literally in a clinical way, to get familiar with the whole process. So I think, yes, there are challenges, but with practice, with training, you can overcome these challenges and can really, ace the exam.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Madan. Next question, and I think Gunjan is in hurry, so she wants a quick answer for this. She knows people who have cleared OSCE and still struggling to find a job in the UK, as it requires right of living in UK, not just in MCPN. How can one avoid it?
Yeah, so I think right of living is nothing but your sponsorship. As I said, Gunjan, that once you do OSCE, you have an NMC PIN. You won't be living straight away in the UK. You have to apply for a job, and this is where Nursify can help you connect you to the right employer. And what we're only saying is NMC PIN is no way a guarantee, but NMC pin will increase the probability of you getting a job. Let's put it that way. Because others who haven't done it, you are more advantaged, versus that. So you still need a visa or sponsorship, and this is where we will connect you to the right employer. And once you, because a lot of private employers are still open to it, while NHS has stopped hiring. So once you have a sponsorship, you have a right to work in the UK, and you can fly off very, very quickly. So I absolutely agree with you. NMC PIN does not give you a right. You still need uh, 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 a certificate of sponsorship or right to work in the UK, which means visa. In simple words, it means visa. And that will come in once you appear for an interview and successfully clear the interview. You are eligible for the visa and right to work in the UK.
Thank you. I hope, Unjan, that answers your question. If you have any more doubts, you can put in here. Otherwise, our support team will surely give you a call to understand this better. So next question, Mr. Madan, that I have is regarding OSCE itself is, what are the different stations in the OSCE and what skills are tested in each?
Yeah, this is going to get fairly technical, so I will keep it very brief. I think there are about 10 stations usually. And there are 4 stations are, used to, there are 4 stations that use, which will test your assessment, planning, implementation, and evaluation, where they will see that whether you follow a structural approach to assessment. Are you doing, assessment tools like ABC? Are you looking at prioritized care? Are you recognizing if there's any deterioration? Then the second one will check planning. The third one will check implementation. How are you administering the prescribed drugs or prescribed medication using a simulated chart, and evaluation. Reviewing and documenting, what you have been able to administer. So these are the skills that are tested in the first 4 stations. Then the next 3 stations are supposed to check your clinical skills, like how do you check vital signs and, how do you do wound dressing and, things like that. I'm not a nurse or a doctor, so I'm trying to explain this to you at a very high level. And the last 2 stations are supposed to check your professional values, like these are ethics-based questions. So, for example, if a patient is refusing care or bullying, how do you deal with that? How do you maintain confidentiality? How do you, how are you candid? How do you maintain candor? And the last one is the evidence-based practice, right? You may be given a scenario, and usually you are supposed to let the examiner know how you're going to handle those scenario. Again, fairly technical. The idea is usually you are supposed to clear all the stations, and I think most people do pretty well in the first attempt. Some also have to take maybe second attempt. But yeah, these are the kind of 10 stations that are available. Was there a second part to the question as well, Akshay?
Yes, actually, Gunjan only asked the next question. That are there any chances that we can pay for the OSCE program fees after getting a job in the UK? as she spent a lot of good amount of money in OET and CBT.
Yeah, I think we'll take that question at the end.
Okay. So Amol is asking how many examiners conduct the exam, and Kiran has a different question. So first question is from Amol, is how many examiners conduct the exam?
Yeah, so I think there are probably a couple of them. And in most situations, um, it all depends on the structure of stations, right? The Usually for 10 stations, you will meet between 4 to 6 different examiners, right? In smaller places, there will be probably a couple, but expect about 4 to 6 different examiners on these 10 stations. That's the simple answer, right? You know, some stations are like the last two are silent ones, where you write a written response. Those are done without the examiner physically being present, right? So yeah, short answer, 4 to 6.
Okay. Then Kiran is asking what is the fee amount? I believe this is the fee amount for the OSCE exam that she's asking. So yeah.
Yeah. So there are various components of the fees. I think what you need to understand is the OSCE exam is about £800, or which is about $1,000, uh, uh, roughly. But there are components uh, which will be required for you to be taken care of. So, for example, you need to do training before the exam. You need to travel to UK. You need to stay there for a couple of days to appear for the exam. You need to get to the OSCE center. All of that. I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe someone in the support can check with Kiran if Kiran is able to hear us. Yeah. So that's for the exam fees. Then there's a training fees required. Then there is travel required to the UK. On the examination day, of course, you will go to the OSCE center, etc. So I think just the examination fees is about £800. But then there are other costs associated with it. We can follow through with detailed breakdown after this thing. You should expect between £4,000 to £5,000 in total. Yeah.
Then Fernandez is asking that he has started the NMC process a year ago, and the process still valid for him?
Yes, absolutely. The NMC process is valid for 2 years at least.
Nirmala is asking on CBT PRN, could we get job and I can finish within 6 months? I think she's on CBT PRN, and she can can she get a job if after clearing just the CBT within the first 6 months?
Yeah, Nirmala, technically you can. As I said, so let me set a context for you here. The UK job opportunities are limited at this point in time. Okay. There are nurses with local practice, local experience, and local PIN who are available in the UK. Why we are asking you to do OSCE first is to prepare yourself before the, prepare yourself and get an NMC PIN so that moment the job openings open up, the jobs open up, you are first one in the queue to be considered. Okay. So technically, yes, on CBT PRN, you can. But if you've done OSCE, your chances of getting a job are much, much higher.
I hope that answers your question, Nirmala. So the next question that I have is regarding OSCE itself. That what happens after a candidate passes the OSCE exam, right? After what happens after that?
Yeah, so if once you pass OSCE, you get an NMC pin, and you are eligible to work in the UK immediately. It's as simple as that.
The next question that I have is, what kind of support do we, Nursify, provide to the nurses after they clear the OSCE exam?
Yeah, so I think even before you clear the OSCE exam, we will help you with the training process. We'll help you with visa to visit UK. We'll help you with the examination, travel, etc., etc. The whole training costs, as I said, between 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, roughly about 5,000 pounds. And I think you can get in touch with Akshit and team to get a better understanding of that.
Thank you.
Once the pin is done, what we do is we will help you prepare for the interviews and connect you to the right employer. Okay. Now, let me be very candid that, I mean, there are thousands of candidates available right now who claim themselves to be UK ready. Okay. But imagine if there are 1,000 candidates available and there are only 100 vacancies, your chance of getting through is 1 out of 10. And that one person out of 10 who is able to present impeccably well in front of the interviewer will get the job. So our job will be to prepare you for the interview. We have recently launched a career readiness program where, through one of our partners, Tutor. So, we have been providing training to a lot of nurses on, how to conduct interview, how to prepare resumes, how to stand out in, versus the crowd. So, lot of work is being done in, once you clear the OSCE. OSCE is just um, once you clear OSCE, that's the first step. We will prepare you for the interviews, connect you with employers, and facilitate some of the interviews for you. Okay, and as and when the job market opens up, I want to be absolutely clear. I'm not here to give anybody a job guarantee right now. Okay, so be very, very clear, because the last thing I want to do is, give you a false assurance of a job and sell you some. We're not here to sell you anything. Okay? So it's for you to prepare well and be ready for the job opportunity. So we'll connect you with the right employer and facilitate the interview process. We do not give any guarantees. Okay? Be very, very clear about that. So there are two questions I think that came up very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I have,
Go ahead, Akshit.
sure. So one of the question is from Kiran itself, is that what are the visa requirements? And Kiran also has a prior visa refusal from Canada. Is it going to affect the UK visa in any way?
I don't think so. Usually, one country depends. I mean, if your visa refusal was because of any criminal record, then of course, I'm not the expert to comment on the visa uh, thing. But I think usually if it was uh, rejected for administrative reasons, I don't think it will impact your UK visa, to be frank. Okay.
Kiran, I hope that answers your question. Then the next question is from Fernandez that they're in Ireland already with EU passport, and is it and am I eligible to work in UK if I clear OSCE?
Yeah, Fernandez, you'll have to send your visa documents for us to evaluate. If you have a right pre-settlement status, you can before the Brexit. If you don't, then you may need to apply for a new visa. But we can comment better because every situation is different, Fernandez. So we'll have to look at your documents to comment better on that.
Great. The next question that I have, Sumadan, what happens and talking for a candidate itself, if a candidate fails the OSCE exam, what are the options for retaking the exam?
Yeah, you can resit the exam a couple of times. But of course, I would recommend you do that only when you go to the UK, because every time traveling to UK will not be easy. So I think, but yeah, short answer is you can resit the exam at least couple of times. Like, to the best of my knowledge, is 3 times, and still clear the exam. I've seen usually 60 to 70% people clear the first time, 20% maybe the second time, and last 10% maybe third time. So chances are low, but I think.
Um, the next question that I have is, how does passing the OSCE improve job security and salary prospect? So salary is something that would be answered, because I hope this has already been answered, that how does OSCE passing improve the job security?
Yeah, so I think I've said it enough. It will put you ahead of the curve. Number two, your salary is going to be. So I think usually the pre-OSCE salary is about £30,000, and post-OSCE salary is about £33,000. So per annum. So right from the day one, you start to earn higher salary, and you will way, your investment in OSCE will simply be recovered in your 3 month salary itself. Okay, so you get, yeah, I think within a year you should be able to recover your OSCE cost as well. So because you get about 3,000 more, so you get higher salary. Of course, you are accepted as a registered nurse, not as a pre-registered nurse. So your confidence level will be higher. You will be ahead of a lot of other people who are still doing OSCE. And of course, your chances of promotions are also, increases if you have cleared OSCE.
Okay. The next question, I shall take it from Fernandez. Fernandez, you need to connect with me. I am just sharing my email ID with you. So just share your details with me so that we can take ahead your process. And yeah, surely we'll get back to you once we have all the details. Okay. The last question that I have, Mr. Madan, that what are the next steps for the candidates looking to settle in UK after completing the OSCE? Or rather, what are the next steps that they should take in order to get ahead in the process now?
Yeah, so I think before that, let me, just summarize. As I said earlier, the idea of this webinar and doing the OSCE is we want you to be prepared and be ahead of the curve. Number one. Number two, if you do the OSCE training, which you are self-sponsoring, right? You are ahead of the other thousands who are, waiting in the queue. Three, it increases your chance, better salary, and you should be able to recover whatever amount you're going to spend on the OSCE within a year and a half. Four, as soon as you get the PIN, I think as a next step, think about what you want to do. I think register. Akshay will share the details at the end of the webinar. I think if you're interested, register for the training program. Akshay will be able to explain the process before we close the webinar. And once you're done that, my humble suggestion would be to go to the program. And once you've done the program, complete the process, get your OSCE done. And once you're done with OSCE, talk to us. We'll help you apply for the jobs.
Sure. Gunjan, so your last question, Mr. Madan, from Gunjan, that needs to be answered. So are there any chances that she can pay for the OSCE program fees after getting a job in the UK?
Look, I think both you and I have to invest, in the program. Usually, you can apply for a bank loan and pay for the OSCE exam. That way, once you get the job. By the way, this is something very, very optional for you, and you have to invest in the program yourself. That's why it's called self-sponsorship plan. So that option, unfortunately, is not available because, somebody's got to pay for the examination fee, the trainer, the visa, travel, etc. And unfortunately, there isn't any Santa Claus. So you will have to, dish out the fees yourself or take a loan from the bank.
So Gunjan, I hope that answers your questions as well. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you can post in here. Otherwise, we will be reaching out to each one of you who has joined in and have been a part of this webinar. You will get a call from us in order to understand how exactly did you feel about the webinar and what can be the next steps in order to go ahead with the process. If you guys are interested, this is an optional program for you so that you can get ahead of everyone else in the process of waiting, right? So Mr. Madan, any last words so that we can close this webinar for today?
Yeah. So Akshay, maybe you want to explain if anybody's interested in the program, how should they go about doing it? Yeah.
Sure. So you, after this webinar, right after this webinar, you will get a link on your WhatsApps, on your email IDs. You need to fill that link and share your recent resume so that we can take ahead the process for you. The process will be very simple. I will talk to you in order to understand your candidature a little more. What exactly are the reasons you are willing to go to UK, and how exactly we will be helping you, and what is the timeline to help you. Once everything is done, we will then tell you how to enroll with the process. And the locations that you will be able to go to in UK for your process to be done.
I think Nirmala's question.
So Nirmala is asking, I request you to help me. She's saying if she's okay to do the OSCE training with us, but she's also asking if we can help her to get a job with the CBT PRN.
Yeah, so Nimla, I don't know if you already sent the documents. Great. If you haven't, then send the documents to us at hello@nursify.co.uk, and we will look into it to what best we can do.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Madan, that you would like to close the webinar
Yeah.
on?
So as I said, I think this is an excellent opportunity for you to prepare. Adjust your tools, sharpen your tools while the job opportunities come up. So be prepared and, you know, um, as much as possible, uh, as much as possible, try to join the program because this is for your benefit only. And let me tell you, those who can self-sponsor this now will be in a very, very different position than than some of the other people. Okay, and uh, you know, Akshit can, once you send a message to Akshit, he'll be able to explain to you the whole process. And again, as I said, this is for you to prepare better, for you to get ahead of the curve, for you to be able to defend and face the interview in a much more confident way once the job opportunities open up. Okay. Um, and let me tell you, private hospitals probably will take a better view than NHS at this point in time. Okay. So thank you so much for listening in and participating. Some great questions. I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed answering your questions. We look forward to see you in the training and hopefully also see you take a flight to UK pretty soon. Thank you so much for your time and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Madan. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You can now
Thank
log
you.
off. Thank
Bye.
you.